This is David Miller. He lives in Vineyard, Utah with his wife Sherry, and all their kids have moved out, so they are empty nesters. David works as a computer programmer and loves basketball, football, and tennis. In fact, David was two-time Utah State tennis champion in high school and a two-time Snow College ICAC Junior Athletic Conference champion, but he can't play tennis anymore. This is because his eyesight has deteriorated, and now he can only see out of his peripheral vision, kinda like the opposite of tunnel vision. And even though he can't play tennis anymore, he plays some ping pong from time to time. He also loves doing magic and woodworking, but because of his eyesight, Sherry does all the measuring and working with tools, and he instructs her on what to do. On a typical day for David, he gets up between 4 and 5 in the morning and works for about an hour and a half, eats breakfast, works for another couple hours, and then goes to the fitness center with Sherry. She likes to swim, and he lifts weights, runs on the treadmill, and rides a stationary bike, and they work out together 5 to 6 times a week. Then he works another 3 to 4 hours and is off work around 2 or 3 o'clock. A motto or goal that David and Sherry live by is, accomplish something each day. This includes jobs around the house, small projects, and acts of kindness to others, so they try to focus on this each day. On an everyday basis, the biggest struggle or challenge for David overall is reading. He needs audiobooks whenever he reads any sort of novel or textbook, and he uses voiceover software on his computer whenever he can. But this type of software is still limited. For example, if he asks Siri for directions to the nearest Home Depot, she can tell him where it is, but he can't read the directions. When he uses his computer, he needs a 50-inch monitor and magnifies it so he can read it. He needs letters 3 inches high to read them, so he needs a big screen. He also uses Windows Narrator, and it works pretty well for him. And he can sometimes read a few words at a time out of the side of his eye, but he can't read a whole sentence or paragraph because it causes eye strain. When searching in Google, he has to highlight results, and it takes time to find what he's looking for. And it's also hard for him to search through files on his computer. At work, he used to be the primary coder, but now he can't do that as well because voiceover software can't read computer code very well, and he has to be precise when working with a computer language where every comma and slash means something. Now he does more design, troubleshooting, and training. David also occasionally gives speeches or presentations to a group of people, but whenever he does, he needs to memorize the words or outlines. He's tried to do presentations before by using voice software connected to a Bluetooth device in his ear, and then he repeats what the computer says. But this loses his audience because he constantly needs to pause and find his place on the computer. Now he mainly uses paper handouts. Another big challenge for him is transportation. He can't drive, but he does ride a bike if he needs to get somewhere alone. He can hardly read street signs though, and he bikes slowly so he can look out for obstacles. Sherry helps him whenever he travels by car or plane, and when he's at the airport alone, he needs to ask others how to get to his flight and gate. But despite all these challenges, David believes there's nothing you can't do if you want to do it. He focuses more on what he can do instead of what he can't do. David's biggest help through these challenges is networking. There are several people out there with similar conditions as him, and a lot have it far worse. He's not afraid to walk up to a random blind person who's using their phone or tablet and ask them how they learned how to deal with their disability. I did some of my own research to see what other devices could assist David in his everyday life. One product I found was called Amigo HD, made by Enhanced Vision. This device is like a mini tablet that will magnify anything it sees. It has a 7-inch display and is lightweight, so it is easily portable. Other features include a clock, a video output to a monitor or television, and a rechargeable battery, although it only lasts 3 to 5 hours depending on the mode and brightness level. Something like this could help David read something when out of the house, like at a grocery store, or when he needs to see something far away. Unfortunately, the Amigo HD is not what I would call affordable. In fact, the cheapest one I could find online cost $1,300. I did find similar products, but they weren't as high quality and didn't include as many features, and they still ran for at least a few $100s. But David has learned how to work with his disability, and even though this device could assist him at times, he still does well without it.